Hey, 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 Fit Mama. Jen Oliver here, your host of the Fit Mama podcast. This is the work in to your workout. Hey, Fit Mama. I'm here today to share with you part 2 of this series, which is what I learned going to a Tantra yoga retreat with my husband. This is part 2. This is more Tantra musings. This is going to be fun today. I got a lot of great feedback on part 1. Thank you so much for listening. And if you haven't listened, you can listen to this one and then go back, or you can just go back and listen listen to this, because they're definitely linked. It does not necessarily matter what order you listen to them in. This is part 2, all about the sex, the connection, the fun that we are going to have in this episode, talking all about pleasure. Last time I explained that Tantra yoga is really the art of conscious loving, and it's very much centered around connection with your partner. It's very much centered around connection with yourself. And it's sort of like the yoga part is that union of the breath and movement. And it's really beautiful when you can start to connect these two pieces. And what I'm realizing is that there are so many different pieces to connect. Yes, like yoga, there is movement and breath, which is the union of those two. But the interesting thing is that when you are in union with another human, you really have a lot of dimensions that you're working with. And I think what I loved most about the experience was expansion of my mind, was just seeing things in a bit of a different light. And people comment to me when they watch my videos or they hear my podcast talking about sex or talking about intimate issues, they're kind of surprised with how comfortably I talk about it. And, this did not happen for me overnight, Fit Mama. I mean, not a chance. It happened for me over many nights that did not go so well in my mind or the mind of the other person, because there was a level of disconnection. And I think when we start to really know ourselves better, whether it's physically and taking that mirror and looking at your body in a really intimate, straight up way, no judgment. I mean, why would we judge ourselves? That's the one thing. It's so common. We don't even think about it anymore, but we judge ourselves. It's like we're the only person who's going to be with us for our whole life until the day we die. Don't take another breath. And yet we're going to judge that person. We're going to put her down. We're going to make her feel crappy all day. We're going to make her do these behaviors because she's trying to cope with the negativity that lives inside her own mind. Why do we do this? I know this because I've done it. I know this because I still do it. I know this because this is normal to be human. But what I really want you to consider today as you listen to this is the expansion of your mind, the expansion of your heart, the expansion into being comfortable in the uncomfortable, because that's what this really is. It's being fully exposed in your biggest vulnerability, your sex, your base chakra, first and second chakras. These are the most important pieces of our foundation of who we are. And when those foundations get rocked, as they do, being a human, particularly being a woman, and a fit mama, no less, because we've had babies, maybe, or we've gone through a physical trauma of some sort. There could be so many. And either way, there's a closing, there's a constriction, there's a tightening, there's a clenching, there's a fear response that is tied to protection. And when we can start to relax our pelvic floor, which is what I teach the Fit Mamas all the time, and breathing and reconnecting to yourself and kind of letting down your guard. First, to you by looking in the mirror without judgment, by touching yourself, pleasuring yourself, without judgment, by doing the things that feel good without judgment. You are human. It's okay to be human. And shame is one of those things that really permeates the world of sex, talking about sex, using words that are related to sex, even over and above vagina and penis, vulva, whatever words we use. In Tantra, it's beautiful. As I mentioned last episode, they talk about the yoni, which I love, the beautiful yoni. And the men's, they call either the Vajra or the Lingam. And I like Vajra better because it sounds like it stands for thunderbolt, which I find to be very sexy, but I like the word cock. And as I'm doing this recording right now, I'm actually holding on to a beautiful green crystal that was gifted to me by very good friends. And it is the cock I use in the video that I'm putting out, which is about how to worship your man and how to pleasure your man. So if you are a woman listening who is with a woman, you likely know how to pleasure your woman already. But if you are a woman who is with a man, sometimes we can get a little bit, I guess whoever we're with, we can get a little bit like robotics, kind of stale, go through the motions. We're like, oh yeah, we have to do that sex thing again. Damn. And we make up a reason why we can't. This seems to be commonplace. And this is something that I really feel passionate about, being someone who really thoroughly enjoys sex, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I always feel like doing it, I should say. It does mean that I have to get in the mood for it. And it doesn't mean that takes really long. Sometimes it can be just a flick of the switch in my mind. Sometimes it takes closing up certain things, moving things around certainly, and getting myself into the mode. But one of the things that I personally never do is turn down sex. And that sounds also kind of crazy. Definitely there's been times where it's like we had on the plans tonight, we're going to, have some frisky play after the kids go to bed, see what leads to. And then it's like, oh, we're tired. We're going to bed. And that's a mutual thing. And we're always on that mutual level if we're feeling that way. But I personally, if he's really into it and he's like, I'm ready and he's really ready, unless there's something on my mind or I just don't want to, of course, but I really make it a plan to just begin. And it's kind of like how I do workouts, because there was a time where, if I didn't do a whole hour of gut busting working out, it was a waste of my time. It was like, I may as well not even worked out. And so 5 or 10 minute workouts, which is now what I do throughout the day repeatedly, or maybe not at all, some days and more, other days, is just getting there, right? Like they say to go to the gym is the hardest part is put on your shoes and leave your house, right? And then all of a sudden, once you're at the gym, you got this, right? And it's same thing with your body. We're in our mind all day with our to-do list and now our bills. And oh my God, if someone can get sick close to me and how do, I'm home for endless hours, COVID-19 hit, we can worry and be in our heads till the cows don't come home. But can we shift, change our state, and get into the opportunity to connect with our partner in a way that is really fun and exciting and gets us off of our mind thinking about all those things. So today I'm going to dive in, and I can't wait to share the other half of the takeaways that I talked about last time. So last time I talked specifically about 3 out of the 6 takeaways that I'm going to share. And they were, number 1, eye contact. So I was really, really taken aback when I got there, all about how intense the eye contact was. And I was missing it. I didn't realize that. It was like we looked at each other, but were we really looking deeply and for a long, sometimes even awkward time period, but you really connect. Number 2 was specifically about touching on the chakras. And this was something, I've done Reiki and I have been working in the energy space for better part of almost a decade now. And I never really connected that in with my husband for him to touch me in certain areas. And I know in the past I have 100% orgasmed when he's touched me just in those spots, not sexually, but putting a hand in the center of my chest just to hold in my heart chakra, or if he has put his hand on my belly, whether higher in my solar plexus or lower down at my second chakra. Wow. And if you're not familiar with chakras, just Google the chakras. You can see a picture of them. They're nice and brightly rainbow colored. And I'm teaching my kids all about the chakras for the last almost 10 years now. And it's just a really great way to see the energy centers of your body. And the two bottom, base chakra and your sacral chakra, are number 1 and 2. And that's the part that really sometimes we don't realize that it takes a few minutes for that area to sort of warm up. And what warming up means, it means essentially feeling safe. And for me, I didn't really realize that for a long time. I mean, I felt safe with my husband. It was not a mental safe. It was a vulnerability, open myself up physically and metaphysically in every way, really be seen by him, really let him see me and feel me and be there with me in a really intimate way. There's absolutely no way, if I didn't feel safe with him, that I could open up to that level. Have I had sex with people I don't 100% feel safe with before? In a vulnerability way, yes, because for me, sex seemed easier than connecting vulnerably in terms of opening up my heart. That's for sure. But at the same time, I feel like sex is amplified and a million times better when you're connected in a very, very, very heart-centered way. And this is what I loved about the Tantra. So we definitely talked about that deep connection. Like I said, those first 3 things. The third one, in addition to the touching the chakras, I forgot, third one was breathing. And if you know me and you know FitMama, you know I talk breathing. So that was something that I was just like, yes, breathing. This is my whole next book, all my research. It's like, okay, breathing, I'm in with this. I love breathing. I love breath work. I love breath play. I love breathing through orgasms with my man. And the best part, and I talk about this last episode, is actually breathing with them when they're orgasming. Specifically me, I really like it when he breathes with me as I'm coming and orgasming, and it feels really good. It feels really connected, and it feels just really present. When you're breathing together and you can tell that at the same time you're either inhaling or exhaling, vice versa, it doesn't even matter what you're doing at the same time. It's just that you know what the other person is doing. That is amplifying the experience and being 100% present. And it's such a beautiful thing. And I'm telling you, orgasms are so, so much better. So I definitely am a huge proponent of keeping the lights on. And as we go into the fourth thing, which extends from the breathing, is sounding. They talked a lot about sounding at the Tantra retreat. And, when I did my research, and I'm still doing my research on breathing and connecting to our nervous system, the vagus nerve, you'll hear all about that another time. But essentially that's to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is that rest, digest, safety. We don't need to run away from a wolf or lion. We can just chill. And when we can stimulate that through breathing, another way to stimulate that is through humming. And if you are feeling stressed out, you may have naturally even done this. And I know I have before when I'm like, that used to be one of my early coping mechanisms with stress. It was, I would hum, and it sometimes wouldn't even have to be audible. I could just close my mouth, I almost clench my teeth a little bit, and a low level, a high level. It was amazing how humming, even producing a sound like that, hum, and connecting, it vibrates a little. And so humming and sounding, these are all very much ways to connect to the present moment, to the now. And like I said, we're so often in our heads and we can't be present in our bodies when we're so much in our heads. So if you're not feeling like, getting frisky and you're just feeling like, I have too much on my mind, getting into your body through a breathing exercise or just a connection or just starting to massage each other's bodies through touch, breathing and connecting into the moment, all of a sudden, your parasympathetic nervous system ticks in and says, hey, we're safe. We got this. You know what? I don't know how all the bills are going to be paid today, but you know what? I can feel really good right now. Right now. And even if you aren't believing it yet, tell your body that. It's okay. You can relax. It's okay. Just settle in. Just enjoy. And we all know that really, even if we're having like an uber fun sesh in the sack with our man or woman, you know what? It's probably an hour tops, depending on how much free time you have. As a mom, we don't have that much more time at night sometimes, but we're exhausted maybe. So I would say an hour tops at night. We play during the day when the kids aren't at home, but now they're full-time home. So we don't spend as long in the daytime. We do early mornings too, which can sometimes be a little risky, which also adds a little excitement. But I really encourage you to realize that it's not like you're going to be there for 6 hours. It's like, put the bills aside, put the to-do list aside, put everything, park it, and the kids are safe, whatever, relax into it. Have fun. You could have magic, beyond magic in half an hour. You can have orgasms through the wazoo in 10 minutes. I guarantee it. I can probably have, I would say, a good 3 to 4 orgasms within 10 minutes. And that's from cold. And that's with my husband. That's with my vibrator. That's with a lot of different things. And we have got it down to a science, but we like the art of it, the play, the exploration. And when you can create time for that, even if just say, hey, let's put aside an hour here, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock after the kids go to bed. We got this. Let's just be present. Let's keep the lights on. Let's look in each other's eyes. Let's just be naked and stare at each other. Let's just do something crazy we've never done before because we're living in a world that we've never lived in before. Let's just go crazy and have fun and be safe, right? Tell each other you're safe. I'm not judging you. I'm just here to enjoy you and pleasure you. And let's explore something we've never explored before and just create a safe container for play, for exploration, for just outside that comfort zone that we cling on to like for dear life. So one of the ways is humming and sounding. So having some music, saying, hey, what music do you like? Let's turn on some Spotify. Let's get a playlist of some sexy jams. I'm sure you can find anything on there. I'm sure you have a bunch of your own already. And my husband and I we love music. We love listening to it together. And it definitely sets a mood. Being playful together, if you play instruments or sing or just, getting into a playful space. And while you're breathing together and touching each other and sounding by making open, enjoying sounds, just being there with each other with no judgment, you will allow yourself to keep getting deeper into a space of pleasure where you are in full surrender and relaxation mode to just feel incredible orgasms that are available to you and are not available to you if you are clenched as tight as a clamshell. And if you are needing to be pried open, there are so many ways to pry you open, and your man or woman wants to figure those out. So have open dialogue because you will start to open up new ways of doing things. Now, one of the reasons why I talk so openly about sex and connection and vibrators and penises or whatever is because I've done it a lot of times. And that's the truth of it all. Sometimes the only way to the other side is right through. And I just needed to desensitize myself. When I went into the world of pelvic floor, once you have kids, let's be honest, like you're going, okay, this is primal in a way I never even considered before. I never wanted to watch another woman have a baby. At least I never did. But when I did it, I was just so empowered and I was so like, I am woman and I can talk about my lady parts and I can talk about all the things that I desire and need and want in this world because I fucking am magical. Hey, FitMama, I want to interrupt this episode just for a quick reminder to check out the Love FitMama Way. If you haven't already checked out the book online, it's available on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. It is a very comprehensive book for you where I explain how the transition into motherhood is a window of opportunity to transform the core of your being as a human and a leader. I go into detail about what you can do physically to rehabilitate your deep inner core after pregnancy and childbirth. It doesn't matter how many years postpartum. I emphasize that being a fit mama all starts with love, and what goes into the embrace, nurture, and enjoy framework as I outline this journey for you. Because it's all about transforming from the inside out, focusing within, not without. Cultivating those healthy habits that stick, that are for you, is what this new generation of fit mamas like you really want. I lay out and I dive into the Fit Mama foundations along with all the relevant tools, new ideas, recommendations, scientific backup, and intriguing perspectives that will leave you feeling empowered Fit Mama and determined to connect deeper with your own core. Regardless if you're male or female, with or without kids of your own, you will find this book thought-provoking and practical in moving you toward true love and reverence towards your body and your life. I guarantee it, FitMama. Reach out. Please let me know how you like the book. It's only $4.69 on Kindle, and you have a Kindle app for free on your phone. If you don't, grab a Kindle. They're awesome. You can read it right on your computer, though. And the paperback is only $24.95. I honestly know that it's worth it. It is over 10 years of research and pretty much 20 years of experience, plus my whole life. But it is a wealth of knowledge. And I know this makes a really, really great gift for any of those pregnant or new fit mamas out there. I guarantee you're going to feel a breath of fresh air from reading this book, and sharing it with your friends and family is giving love right to them. I talk all about healing your seal and doing the pearl pull-ups to bring yourself back into a place of equilibrium in your core, a nice connection, connecting with your deep inner core, how to rehab, what it all means, and it's super, super clear and simple. So check out the book, get it on Amazon. The link is in the show notes. And back to the episode. Have a great day, Fit Mama. And it was an evolution, I would definitely say. First thing was 100% my husband making me feel really safe. And maybe we can do another episode on with him, because I don't know how he did it, but he just made me feel so safe. And I'm sure your husband or wife did the same thing for you. So you're able to open up by making you feel non-judged and like they love everything about you, no matter what, who you are, or not who you are, because that is who you are, but what you are, what you come with that day, what you look like, what you smell like, anything. That day's, you are perfect for them all the time. And I really have, high fives and fist bumps to my husband. I'm grateful to him forever. There are a number of people online that I have come to know who talk only too about sex and all things sort of forbidden. Number one open gateway was my mentor who has been on the podcast, the vagina coach, Kim Vopni. She and one of my other mentors, Sam Mopti Hoon, she is, they both worked in the pelvic health space. She's a core expert. They're both fit core experts I love. They know all about things to do with pelvic floor and fitness. And they were my early mentors, and they taught me to talk openly about vaginas and vulvas and all the things related, not necessarily orgasms per se, but we definitely talk pelvic health. And long time ago, I almost want to say it's about 3 years ago now, I was on a podcast with a woman who I love and has now become a mentor for me online. Her name is Alexa Martinez, and she runs a group online. If you're on Facebook, she runs the Kaleidoscope group. She also had a podcast that I was on. I think she still has the podcast called the Kaleidoscope Podcast. And I was a guest on that podcast, and it was so great to talk to her. She, and then I joined her group, and she talks openly about all things pleasure, orgasm. She does not have kids of her own yet. And she was just like enthralled by the fact that I was talking about how fantastic life could be for your pelvic floor after you had babies. She was like, I need to hear it right from you. What is going on? This petrifies me to have kids. And I was her. I was petrified too. What is going to happen to my pelvic floor? My body is going to get blown out by trying to have this kid. I was freaking out. So anyway, check my book for the latest on that. Clearly I got through that, but she's a great person, Alexa Martinez. And if you join the Kaleidoscope group, you will see me posting in there about stuff because I talk sex in there with the Kaleidoscope peeps. Another lady I follow online on Instagram, and I love her pictures and I love her posts more importantly. She just curates amazing pictures and her words of wisdom, Kim Anami. She's great. So I'm going to link to a few of these. I also recently watched the Goop series on Netflix with Betty Dodson. And if you don't know Betty Dodson yet, she was mentioned to me by a few people and she was on this Goop series. So anyway, those are a few people that have influenced me speaking about vaginas and vulvas and orgasms. Another woman who I give a big shout out to, one of my besties of all time, Jumi Park. She had taught me all about living an orgasmic life. She's a beautiful human and she is just, too many words for her. She's coming on a podcast soon because I just fully love her and she fully is just so incredible. So you got to know Jumi. Number 5 along here as I'm going on from humming and sounding. So just have some fun playing with your man or woman with sounding. Just be funny and silly and laugh together naked and just do it. No judgment. Number 5 is this idea that I talked a little bit about in the first episode, but it's kind of in a continuation of that, which is this choosing to have a giving only or receiving only experience. So I do this with my man all the time. I'm like, tonight's about you. Let's lie you down. Let's sit you here. Let's do this. Let's get you into this. Let's have some fun. And, let's play. And it's all about your pleasure. And so we choose. And, then it's me and it's all about me. And he helps me achieve pleasure in a million different ways and focused 100% on me because it is so natural when someone is sitting there with you that they're doing things to you. I know this was my early days of sex, especially was like, oh, he's touching me here. Oh, I got to touch him there. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, I got to do this. Right. And it's like, how can you focus on all these things all at the same time? Maybe if you're really good, but I really get into it. And so I'm just like, whoa, I can't actually function sometimes if something is being done to me and I'm totally in pleasure zone. So understand that it's nice to just be receiving only and not feeling like you have to also perform in some way. This is very, very enjoyable. So set some dates with your man or woman and say, hey, we are going to have some time where it's all about you. I'm going to treat you and this is what's going to be. And come ready and open to relax and experience the pleasure that I have in store for you, right? And there's so many ways of doing this. And I talked so much in the earlier episode also about sexting, connecting through planting seeds of, hey, this is what we're going to do later. I can't wait later to pleasure you. And I can't wait to do this to you. Emojis, different pictures and GIFs or whatever you're into. Sharing that together is so much fun and it really sets the anticipation level up. It sets the excitement up. It makes your other person feel loved, feel appreciated, feel like you can't wait to pleasure them. They're like, whoa, really me? Oh my God. Wow. What is that going to mean? And ooh, it's so fun and have fun with it, FitMama. Just treat your person. And right now we're stuck inside and we're probably either being triggered by all the things that already annoyed us about our, partner, kids, etc., because it's a pretty incubator life situation right now. But at the same time, maybe we can just start to let go of some of those things, or we can just start to open communication lines and say you know what? I really want to give you more blowjobs, babe, but it drives me fucking nuts when you leave that shit in the sink all the time, or that towel on the floor, or when you can't put your laundry in the basket. That stuff drives me so bananas and it actually turns me off. If you put that in the laundry basket, I would be up for more sex. Just lay it out there and connect and say, hey, this is what's standing in my way right now. Okay, I'm stressed about the bills. Let's talk about it. Or maybe you can pay the bills this week, or whatever it is. Open those lines of dialogue that might be standing in your way of feeling more pleasure, more openness, more safety, FitMama. Just feel into it and connect. it is likely due to not feeling safe in one way or the other that is not allowing you to open up, or that is not allowing you to feel excited for sex if you're not, and to really be getting multiple amazing orgasms. Like, that's available to you, FitMama. That is just so really available. And number 6, creating rituals. And I talk about this in a video series as well. I created a video series for my YouTube, which needs a little revival right now. And I have some really great content that I'm putting out around this because I'm really passionately and intimately and excited. These are all very, sexy words for how on point I feel when I'm talking about sex right now. And the reason why is because I really feel like we've become disconnected. And when I say we, I do talk about a lot of people that I am intimately connected with, whether it's friends, family, clients, FitMamas online, people I follow, tons of different hashtags that I follow online about connecting with our person. And I actually had I won't go into the story right now, but I had an experience where I really sort of had kind of this existential moment where I was like, in this moment, I can either go away from him, which is my husband, because I was annoyed by him or whatever, and I just didn't want to deal with whatever was bugging me about me to him. Or I said I can go towards him in this moment. And this is a choice I have. I can be annoyed and put this all into the story of something that gets worse and drives a wedge between us in our marriage, or I can go towards him and be vulnerable and ask for what I need or whatever it was at the time. And I remember making a conscious choice to say, I'm going towards my husband. I want to be that way. That is where I know my safety, love, and everything lies. And when I'm getting annoyed by something, whether it's him or not, if I go away the other direction to not someone else per se, but something else, anything, just building walls around myself that don't include him, I know it's only going to get worse. And I had that conscious awareness. And this really comes from creating rituals to plan to make time for each other. It doesn't have to be, some kind of like lay out the bed of roses every night, but every year, we don't miss Christmas or whatever holidays we have. We don't miss them because we create these rituals around them, and we have a Christmas tree and we have Christmas lights or whatever it is for you. We plan for it. We make time for it. It's part of our year. And sometimes that's what we do with sex. If it's once a year I give him a blowjob on his birthday, or, he deserves this because he got a promotion. But like, what about every day? What about what you deserve in terms of feeling pleasure every day? And this is all it takes is planning. It takes making time for each other and choosing each other to go and explore and play with, instead of scrolling the Instagram feed or watching another video, something online, when you could watch a sexy video that you guys could also get really turned on by. And one of the videos that I wanted to share that I'm really excited to share, and I'm going to share a link to it and him, is this Sex Hacker Pro program. Yes, there is something called Sex Hacker Pro, which is by a guy called Kenneth Play. And Kenneth Play is someone who I just recently got introduced to a few weeks ago, and by Alexa Martinez, who I mentioned earlier. And Kenneth Play is really, he's pretty darn cool. He is he calls himself a sex hacker. And he says that great lovers are made, not born. And he says men are inherently selfish. Society has made men insecure about their size, erections, and endurance. We're all robbed of a good sex education. I say, fuck all that bullshit. He's helped thousands of men realize their sexual potential and take their lovers to places they've never been before. So I can honestly say my husband has taken me to places I've never been before. And I just recently purchased Kenneth Play's content, the Sex Hacker Pro program, which was my first experience. And these are a series of videos, modules that you can see at the link that I'll share in the show notes. And He talks about pleasure theory. He talks about foreplay, fingering. He talks about squirting. He talks about oral penetration. He talks kink and anal, multiple orgasms, and so much more. And he really does not hold back. And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. I'm really excited to dive into all the content that I'm just starting to check out. And I mean, there are ways to explore yourself and someone else in a really safe and exciting way that your man or woman might just be waiting for you to ask them to open up, to ask them to bring a vibrator into the room and show you how they get more pleasure or show them how they can pleasure you more. What else do you want? Have you given it any thought? Have you thought about the things I talked about in the last episode, if you've listened to that yet? Or have you thought about maybe creating a date when you get to just pleasure your man? And I created a video, which I'm really excited to share with you, which is all about, as I said, how to worship your man. And I specifically talk about a soft cock and a hard cock and having fun with it and not putting all the stress around it. Like, oh my God, my man's not hard, or oh my God, he's always hard, or whatever it is to you. It's like, what about just enjoying his manhood, his cock, his balls, just playing, licking, having fun, getting them slippery and wet and all that. So I talk all about that in the video. I do not hold back. It's pretty intense. It's like full on mode with the video. And I really want you to enjoy that because I kind of demonstrate using that. Actually, not only using that green crystal that I mentioned earlier, also using a beautiful rose quartz crystal, which is a light pink color. And that's used as the soft on. So I have the hard on and then I have the soft on, and I'm demoing both. And I'm just getting right into it. And I really, I'd love to hear your feedback on that, because I know when I started to implement these things, I just started worshiping my man. I just started looking at him in a way that I really loved every single part of him already. And yeah, there were things that annoyed me or that were like, whatever, I don't know about this. It's kind of like cray here, dude. But like when I started to just communicate with him about more things, when I started to touch him more often and connect with him in a way that made me more excited as well as him more excited, right? If I go by and grab him and kind of, touch him on the shoulder, yeah, that's pretty sexy and he feels connected. But when I go by and kind of grab his ass or sort of maybe ask him not to wear underwear, which I ask all the time because I love it, and I go kind of touch him, start to just maybe like, cup him a little bit or play with him a little bit, just as a hey, how are you doing? In work time, in work mode, or, even, in the hot tub when we're hanging out or whatever. It could be any time, just to stop and admire your person, just to look at them more often. This is something I started many, many moons ago. And I think right when I started connecting, with my boyfriend before he was even my husband, I just looked at him in that admiration and complimented him because, why wouldn't I? I know he is going to feel better about himself when I'm complimenting him. I know I feel better about myself when he's complimenting me. And it's not that I need validation all day. It's that, hey, when he tells me I'm sexy, when he tells me I look hot, when he tells me he loves me, when he tells me these things, it just adds to how awesome I feel. And why wouldn't he want to bring that out in me? And where would I get more compliments? By complimenting him, by pointing out things and really looking at him, and not only on his body, not pointing out, oh my God, your cock is so big, which of course he'd love to hear, but also in addition to that, man, babe, I love the way you handled that tonight with the kids, when you explained that to Kennedy and I was about to freak out and you just were so calm with her. And I just love the way she looks at you. She's so lucky to have you as a dad. Wow. and just sitting with that for a minute and just really feeling it with him and allowing him to sit with that and feel that compliment. It's just such a turn on, and you're not about to jump him then, or you can't blow him in the living room with the kids, but hello, you can set that light afire and save that up for later. And it's really, really, really fun, Fit Mama. So have some fun with that. I could take this for so many more hours, honestly. And that's why I created the Sensual series videos for the YouTube, because I really love filming videos. I love talking about this. I really am excited to share a little bit more about this. And I want you to kind of get a little bit more relaxed about talking about this with your person and with your friends. I know my friends, they are the first to watch the How to Worship Your Man series. I'm sending all of them day by day the Google Drive and asking for feedback. And, it's a vulnerable thing to open up and talk sexually with your husband or wife or friends or whomever. But you know what? The reality is you're either connecting more. It doesn't have to be always sexual, but closer together in an open, vulnerable way, or you're further apart. It's always moving in one direction. And I really feel like it's common for couples because, especially once we have kids, we got the kids, we got this, we got that, we're ships in the night. We got, you're on duty, I'm on duty, you cooking. Oh, it's all bills, that and the other. It's less sexy, right? We go, oh, wow, man, this is not hot at all. I'm never turned on. A piece of me has died. And it's truly just not the reality of it. I just don't think it has to be our reality anyway. I think that's just a perspective that we can take on because it's something that's a social norm, but I truly don't believe it has to be our choice. And I think if we can start to feel a little more sexy, I know for me, I stopped wearing bras other than, actually even when I went running the other day, I forgot a bra and I was like, I can handle this. Now I've got definitely not a large set of boobs to bounce around. I have to say that as a disclaimer. So check your sports bra, but I feel sexier when I'm not wearing a bra. So I'm just going for it right here in COVID-19 social isolate. Well, I should say public distancing, because it's socially, I am online, I am always here, and I feel like more public than ever as I bear my open yoni lifestyle to you. So thank you for being here. I am going to link up all the things I talked about in the show notes, as well as the video. Wow. I can't wait to hear from you. I can't wait to hear how this is going for you. One last thing, if you're still here on this podcast, I'm dropping one of my favorite vibrators that was recommended to me by a girlfriend back in Windsor. Thank you. I won't mention your name, but I appreciate you and always think of you for opening me up to the Hitachi Magic Wand vibrator. That one is a beautiful thing, and you and your partner will love bringing that into the situation if you have not or don't have one you love yet. The Hitachi Magic Wand. You can thank me later. So thank you for being here, Fit Mama. I love you so much. As always, take care of yourself. Feel safe with a person. If you don't feel safe, you are not going to open up. So that is the place to start, Fit Mama. I love you. Take care. Talk to me, send me a note, and explore your person, including yourself first. Adios. Namaste, Fit Mama.